Have you ever thought to yourself, I really wish I could leave my job and just go into full time ministry for the Lord? Well, I hope after watching this video, you have some second thoughts about that perspective. Let's jump in. Hi, and welcome to Monday morning meditation, where we look at having wisdom and insight at the beginning of the working week. And today we want to talk about a very common thought that many believers have about, just really wishing they could be not in their 9 to 5 job and they can be just free to kind of do ministry for the Lord. And it's a common idea, but it's not necessarily a biblical idea. And I just want to kind of share a few thoughts from the scriptures to kind of help us to see how we can have a slightly different and more biblical perspective. So, in the very beginning of the book of the Bible, we have, it says in Genesis 1:1, and God created the heavens and the earth. And then in a kind of summary of that in Genesis 2, it talks about how God planted a garden. Now, looking at that at first glance, the weight of it can really just pass us, but that is a phenomenal statement for a couple of reasons. Because in ancient times, it was believed that the gods, were too important to do work. They wanted leisure, they wanted relaxation, they wanted to be either on Mount Olympus or whatever the particular genre of the god was, but work was not a part of the god's mentality or life. And actually, in fact, it talks about how gods would make men or made men for the purpose of doing work on the earth while they themselves remain in the heavens and enjoyed life. And here we have the scriptures revealing God, the true God, our God, as a worker. Let's thinking. First impressions matter, and God has chosen to give himself, reveal himself, I should say, his first impression to mankind as the God who works, which is phenomenal. And not only the God who works, but a God who works, quote unquote, with his hands. He planted a garden. This God is not too lofty, not too important to, quote unquote, get his hands dirty, but he touches, he interacts with creation because he made it and he loves it and he wants to take care of it. This God is a worker God. He works with his mouth when he says, let there be. He works with his mind as he designs the world and draws a circle around the earth of where the waters should stop and go no further. This God is a God who works with his hands as he plants a garden, as he forms a human body. So this God is a designing God, a speaking God, a crafting God, a designing God. This God is a worker. And even more than that, this God, in a real sense, has, he worked almost like a day job, because he has, like, on the first day, he did this. On the second day, he did this. On the fourth day, he did this. This God is working and working daily, working creatively, working for the good of mankind, whom he will later create. This God is a creative worker, a worker who's working with the creation, with the natural order of things, working in the physical realm for the good of mankind. This is how God first introduces himself as the working God. And we are made in his image, which goes down to the next part. So God is a worker, but God also made us humans to be workers as well, in the same genre, in the same way as he himself worked. I think if you read in Psalms 8, let's kind of go there quickly. It says this, Psalms 8 verse 5, you made him a little lower than the heavenly beings. You crowned him with glory and honor. You have given him dominion or rule over the works of your hands. Speaking about creation, you have put all things under his feet. So after God has created all these things he's made, sun, moon, stars, and water, and animals, and even intangible things like light and laws and physics, and all these things he has made, he then says, man, I want you to then use your creative powers I've given you to have dominion, to creatively rule, to creatively construct, to creatively build on top of what I've made, to take what I've made and use it, craft things from it for the benefit of mankind. So if there are laws of physics, can you use this to do physics in terms of to make airplanes fly in the air? I have made light, can use photons to craft images and pictures to make photographs and film. I've created colors. Can you use the colors I've made to make works of art? I have given the actual waters. Can we use the buoyancy that I have put inside of it to create ways that we can use it for transportation? I have given all of these things in the earth, the physical earth, and I want you to creatively use your powers I've given to you to rule, to create, to have dominion, to build on top of it things that can benefit mankind, things that can bless mankind, things that can sustain his life and help him to thrive. We are workers. That is our primary identity in that regard. In the beginning, it says, God made us in his own image to have dominion. And our dominion is expressed powerfully in our work. And goes on to this. In Psalms 104, God is described and seen as not only creator, but taking care of the creation that he made. And it goes on to talk about how the Spirit of God is renewing this thing that he made. The Holy Spirit of God is not only hovering at the beginning, but every day sustaining creation that he made. And God continues this sustaining work through you and I. How? Through our work, through our jobs. He continues to take care of people through the work that you do. He continues to feed people through the baker. He continues to love people and want their eyesight to be well through people who is given the skills to be, what's the word for that now? My wife would kill me because she has to go so often. The eye doctor, can't remember the fancy word for that. Optician, yes, that's it. He continues to care and love the world through your job, through your work. God has never stopped loving mankind. He's never stopped sustaining mankind. He's never stopped wanting to take care of his creation, and he partners with you through your work. You are currently already in full-time ministry linked to God with the mandate of taking care of people and planet because he loves both of them. So I want you to reconsider how you look at your job. You are not just a person going to a job to get a paycheck. No. You are a partner with God in his ongoing love for people and planet, using your skills and talents to make sure that the planet is sustained for the benefit of man and for the glory of God.